Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hope you're doing well. So today on the way to school, my kid tells me that there was a bully situation, right? She pointed to a girl and said, "That's the girl who says she's a boy." And I said, "What do you mean? What happened?" And she goes, "I told her that she was a she, and she said, 'Don't call me that. I'm a he.' And a boy came up to her when she said that and pushed her into the trash can, and my kid pushed him back, and they got into a little scuffle. And I told her that she has to stick to her principles and not be intimidated, right? She doesn't have to use language that others prefer, that go against truth, that go against Islam, and no one can compel her speech, right? And then I talked to her about how Prophet Nuh was mocked when he was building the ark, and how he was steadfast against a mass amount of people who didn't believe in him, and he had to be mentally strong. Then I talked to her about Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and how when he was praying, people came and dumped animal intestines and whatnot on him, and that he had to be steadfast and bold. And so I told her that she has a right to defend herself and her convictions, and that what she should do is avoid that student who to us is mentally ill and living in a lie and a fantasy, and that she should avoid that person, not be friends with them, stay away from them, so that she isn't forced to call a clearly biological girl a boy, right? And I'm really proud of my kid because she's the only Muslim in her school, and she told me this in confidence, and I'm proud of her further that she didn't let a boy bully her, right? It's important that you teach your daughters to be strong in that way. I know some red pill Muslims think women shouldn't know how to fight. They and there are some older sheikhs who think women shouldn't know how to fight at all. I don't know, sometimes I think those sheikhs think that the world is made of ice cream and flowers. They don't really see the necessity of what a lot of kids go through in public schools and whatnot. So I'm proud of her that she didn't just get afraid of the boy. And I told her that she has a right to use any kind of force against that boy for putting hands on her, because she was talking to the girl, not that boy. And the boy pushed her and said, "Don't call him that." And my kid said in response, "It's a she." So I told my kid, don't let them confuse you. You're right and they're wrong. Live in reality. She will have a period. She has a cervix. She doesn't have male genitalia. And she doesn't have the capacity to fertilize someone to get pregnant. It's a girl and you're right. But don't point at that individual and say it over and over. Because my kid was just being normal. She was like, "Oh, she told this, blah, blah, blah." Like, she was talking regular speech, not trying to be a bully. And the trans kid, which doesn't exist, corrected her and fiercely and demanded that my Muslim child call her a he, to which my kid refused, and a boy stepped in and pushed my kid into the trash can and said, "Don't call him that." And so times like this is when your kid, if they're in public school and they're surrounded by liberals, right? You have to really be your kid's hero and help them, because we don't have to kowtow to anyone, right? Someone can't tell me to call a cat a dog or a dog a horse. You can't. I don't have to listen to you. My kid doesn't have to listen to you. That's the world, right? So this is another reason why I teach my kids self-defense, and I told her if the boy's really getting aggressive with you, you aim for the crotch area as hard as you can, and you be steadfast, and you turn to Allah, and remember the prophets. And if you stick to the religion of Islam and what it says about gender, then you get more rewards in paradise, because you're not listening to shaitan and the illusions of this world, but you are obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and what He wants of us. And so I gave her a pep talk like that, and it made her feel really good. But I just wanted to share this with some other moms, just to make sure you're checking in with your kid. Because some children, they don't tell you the things they go through in public school as a Muslim child. So you have to make sure you ask them, how was your day? And if they say good, really dig in. Like, sometimes you have to do a little bit of conversation starters, like a Socratic method of just talking to them, responding, leading the question, right? You really have to sometimes make them open up, or just remember, because sometimes kids will go through things and they just like, oh yeah, I want to go home and play. Like, so like they cut the conversation short. So sometimes you just refresh them on what the events happened, and then they'll tell you. So make sure you have good communication with your kids, and help them to be brave and support them. And remember, girls need to know how to fight as well.